start with the initial contact, right? Somehow you gotta get in touch with the person you want to talk to. And most of the time this is done by email these days, so I want to say a few things about that. Those of you who are following the 500 Words website, you've seen that I had a question answered about this very issue. But I'd like to expand on that a little bit here, for those of you who didn't see it, and you should go and read it. But I'll say this. Your first contact, many times, is going to be by email. So you should think about this as the first impression you're making, as if you're about to interview for a job or for your dream program in grad school. What are you going to do? How are you going to impress that person? Now you might say, this is just an email, I'm just setting up an appointment, what's the big deal? The big deal is that these days, there are many people, maybe not just these days at all, in general, there are just many people who are very sensitive to how you write to them. Especially, some of your professors might fall into this category. So if you send an email that looks and reads like a text message, and not like an email, that does not create a very good first impression. The art of emailing professors is, in fact, quite simple. You start the email with "Dear either doctor or professor," and the last name of the person, then comma, and please make sure you spell the last name correctly. I'm not the only one who has a weird last name. There are many others. It's very easy to figure out how you should spell it. So, be either doctor or professor, last name, comma, say what you want to say, and end the email with "sincerely, all the best, very respectfully," or just respectfully, and your name. It's probably also a good idea to mention in your email which class you're taking with this person. Quite a few of us at this university have 250 students a semester. If you don't tell me which class you're at, I will obviously find out, because I can look you up on my lists, but it's nice if you can actually give me that information in the email. I'm telling you this because I'm in fact not a very formal guy, and I'm not at all offended by emails that don't follow the structure that I just outlined, but I know quite a few people who are. I know quite a few people who told me, you know, when I get an email that reads like a text message, that has all sorts of smileys and emoticons in it, and internet slang like LOL and, well, not WTF, but LOL, then the first reaction that I have is that I don't want to respond to that student at all. So, think about this carefully when you write emails to your professors, because as friendly as they are, most of them are still at this point not your friends. Maybe they will be down the road. So, next thing is ask to meet, obviously, because that's the purpose of everything we're talking about right now. Ask to meet, but be respectful of people's time. In other words, you might be in that professor's class. Well, most of us as teachers, in addition to all the students we teach, we also have to do research. And we also have to serve on various committees. We are very busy, and even on days that we're not on campus, we usually actually work more than when we are on campus. So, ask when might it be a good time to meet, and then don't expect that meeting to happen tomorrow. If it does, that's great. But it won't always happen that way. So remember that that's just how things work. Okay, now you're in the meeting already, and this is the part that many people ask me, well, what do I do? Fine, I got the meeting, okay. How do I do this? Well, you get into the meeting, and obviously you don't walk into your professor's office and, oh, dude, my girlfriend just broke up with me last night. What am I going to do? No. First, it's probably a good idea to find some academic question to ask. You're taking a class, after all, with that person. Or if you have nothing to ask about regarding that class, you can look your teacher up, see what that person is actually interested in, and maybe try to come up with a question regarding that person's research. After all, academics have big egos, and we love it when people are interested in our work. So, look this up and come up with a question. In other words, start with a casual academic conversation. At some point, you might want to sneak in some personal detail about you, and see how the other side reacts. Some professors are not into personal connections with their students. That is, they will help you with anything you want professionally. They'll meet with you and discuss tests and assignments and everything else you want that's academic, but they're not really too much into a personal relationship. And you need to respect that. Not everyone is like that. So if that's the vibe that you're getting, then continue the conversation and move on and realize you probably need to find somebody else. But if it's not, and you get sincere interest in you and your life, then that's a good place to start. And maybe in a few weeks, you can set up another meeting with that person and so on. Remember what I said at first, people click with different people. So the one professor who might be a really good mentor for your friend may not actually work very well with you, and that's fine. Just like in the world of dating, right? We don't date everyone, just someone who really fits in with what we're looking for. So that is always something to think about. At the end, this is really what you want to get to. This kind of a close relationship with someone who can really support you and help you through your time in college. And if you manage to get more than one of these, that's really great. And the last point I'll say is that make sure to keep in touch. The number of students that I've had really wonderful conversations with that I've never ever seen afterwards in my office is much larger than the number of people that I've actually seen in subsequent meetings. You had a good meeting with one of your teachers, even if you don't know where this is going next, make sure to keep in touch by email, and from time to time, it doesn't have to be on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, from time to time, schedule a meeting. Chat again with that person, because at some point when you're going to need that person to do the things for you, like write a letter, you want that person to know you and not say, who is she? She took a class with me 2 years ago. We met once. I don't really know anything about her, so I'm just going to write. She's great. It's going to be a boring letter, and she's not going to get what she wants, but that's just life, right? You don't want that. You want something a lot better, in which case, you got to put in the effort. Next time, I will talk about, well, I guess I'll have to wait till next week to see. So, have a nice weekend. Hope to see you